was confronted once again with the fact that 99% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed to me. No, that's the actual number. Please subscribe to help lower that number. I should probably also put that message at the end of a video with more substance. Well, next one is probably going to be a double feature review of Godzilla x Kong with Monke Man, so that would probably work. So subscribe for that. Well, now that I said that, I guess I have to do it now. Monke Man is the directorial debut of star Dev Patel. He also wrote the story, while the actual screenplay was written by Paul Angunawella and John Cawley. It was apparently originally supposed to go straight to Netflix, and even they weren't happy with it and almost cancelled its release. But then Jordan Peele saw it and decided it deserved a theatrical release, so he got his production company involved with it and convinced Universal to distribute it. And this is a win for us all because this is a great action movie. Dev Patel plays an Indian man who fights in an underground club with a monkey mask on, where he's encouraged to lose to more popular fighters. I think they said his fighting name was Kong. The surface level similarity just keeps getting deeper. But then he decides to infiltrate a club of wealthy and powerful people to get revenge for something that's only going to be revealed gradually throughout the movie. And to do this, he's going to have to go through a lot of people John Wick style. And for somebody known mostly for dramas and art films and stuff, Dev makes a pretty good action star. At least part of that is from the action scenes themselves. They consist mostly of bloody fights, and they are intense and fun to watch. It also has moments of great cinematography and some nice moments of comic relief. For a first-timer, Dev directs the hell out of this. He has said that he made this so that Indian people have a Hollywood action hero who looks like them, and despite those intentions, he isn't afraid to play things a little more controversially than your average action movie. Apparently this was a big reason Netflix didn't like it. It deals with the system in India, revolving around issues like poverty and discrimination, and the hero targets those in power who enable it. It has strong political overtones in addition to all the action. That might explain why Peele liked it. Another genre film that isn't afraid to actually say something. From a debut director known for acting in completely different genres. Could this be the start of the action movie equivalent to Jordan Peele? It's not impossible. Anyway, this movie criticizes Indian nationalism. So much that I've heard it might not even be releasing in India. To anybody who may be watching from India, I hope you do get the option to see it at some point. A criticism of RRR that I've heard from people who know more about Indian cinema than me is that it glorifies Indian nationalism, even if the director denies it. And apparently that can sometimes be an unfortunate theme in a lot of other Indian movies. As somebody who loves RRR, I gotta say that Monke Man is the counter to this. An action movie about India that is willing to stick it to the system. However, the movie does unfortunately drag a little near the middle. But other than that, it's a worthy addition to the John Wick influenced violent action movies of recent years. But this time with a heavy dosage of social commentary. Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire. I don't know how they want me to pronounce the X. Directed by Adam Wingard, who made Godzilla vs. Kong in addition to You're Next and The Guest. Written by Terry Rossio, who worked on Godzilla vs. Kong, Aladdin, Shrek, and Pirates of the Caribbean. Simon Barrett, who worked on You're Next, The Guest, and VHS. And Jeremy Slater, who worked on Fantastic Four and Moon Knight and created The Umbrella Academy, based on a story written by Rossio, Barrett, and Wingard. This is coming out a few months after Minus One blew everyone away, following up one of, if not the best Godzilla movies ever, with probably the weakest in the American Monsterverse. Still not bad though. It was inevitable that it would disappoint after that, but it's still fun even if it isn't as fun as a lot of its predecessors. So yeah, Godzilla and Kong have pretty much squashed the beef and are friends now. Okay, maybe not, but they do have to team up again near the end to take down a big threat. Not a spoiler because it's in the damn title. As expected, the human characters aren't deep. Although there is one guy who particularly has a lot of charisma, so that probably counts for something. Weirdly enough, Kong is the most relatable character in this, and the movie wisely spends a lot of time with him with no humans around. And not just for the fun stuff, a lot of the important plot stuff is just him interacting with the world around him with no dialogue. Yes, long stretches without dialogue. That makes this an art film. But seriously, a lot of it feels like it could be in the new Planet of the Apes movie. Yeah, they had the trailer for that before this movie. Big surprise there. And in these scenes, he actually does come across as an actual character, with an actual character arc. In fact, he might be the only character in this movie with an arc. Yeah, that's right, Kong's the relatable one in this duo. Godzilla fans can suck it. Anyway, it introduces a few new monsters for them to fight or even befriend, and they're all interesting enough. Obviously, the movie's more interesting when it's focusing on the monsters, which is often. The movie's mostly just a few small fights in between some plot, all leading up to a big matchup in the climax, much like Godzilla vs. Kong. But unfortunately, what puts it behind vs. Kong and a lot of others in terms of quality is that the fight just isn't as epic as those other ones. There are a few cool moments, but all in all, it just doesn't really have that same power, and it's over a little too quickly. Also, the story is a little absurd. Like, yes, most of these movies are absurd, but this one a little more so for some more heavily sci-fi and mystical elements. Yes, those types of things are in a lot of the older ones from the Showa era. Maybe I'm letting my personal preferences get in the way of actual criticism, but I prefer these to be at least semi-grounded. And some of the attempts at humor fall pretty flat. Although I'll admit some of the goofier aspects were a little charming. The initial plan for the MonsterVerse was to end after Godzilla vs. Kong. Does that mean that the MonsterVerse could enter its post-Endgame phase where it's all okay but doesn't reach the heights of the original arcs? Even for a universe that has never come close to reaching the heights of Marvel's best? I don't know. Obviously it's too early to tell. But despite being the weakest so far, this is a decent enough start. So it at least has a chance of meeting or even exceeding the style of a substance size of the franchise. Who knows, maybe even something as deep and interesting as -1 could be just around the corner. Okay, so with the monthly recap that YouTube sends me as a creator, I was confronted once again with the fact that 99% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed to me. No, that's the actual number. Please subscribe to help lower that number. Also in the description there's a link to my Patreon, which I've pretty much given up on promoting, but I'll do it anyway.